birds on a wire. Think of this experience as school. I was walking home and there's a water tower where I'm walking. That's a big high water tower, and there's this field, and in both there are these pigeons, and then there's this wire, power wire in between. It's just sort of above me. The other two are distant. Anyway, over the course of a few minutes, both groups in their own time, not at the same time, did these swoops to the wire where all the birds ended up landing. Now, not all of it was graceful. I mean, it wasn't haphazard. I mean, compared to what we would execute, they made it look, just incredibly smooth. And I'm thinking about these birds, and I'm thinking about these timelines, these potential timelines, and I'm looking at these birds and saying, well, let's say these birds are on a timeline, which means a potential of everything, right? That's what Source has created, is the potential for everything to exist. It just depends on where we are, where you are on that. But in this case, we'll talk we, because we're here as humans together. So we're these students here to have an experience in this section of reality. And so that wire goes on forever. Does that make sense? That wire that they're sitting on goes on every potential reality that can ever exist. For you, for every potential other being, it's just this, it's not the way it is, but I'm trying to just put it into really easy terms and just think of it that way. So we're in this little tiny section. And then above that, I'm thinking about spirit. And spirit being an aspect of Source. Source is consciousness, right? It's an aspect of the Source or God or Plenoma or whatever you want to call it. Gotta believe in something, because I promise you this, we're not just evolved. Devolved, yes, but not evolved. So, what we see here isn't that wonderful? And my friend Jenny says this is the lowest form we take, so I should tell you something. But anyway, so above this is spirit, and somewhere on this continuum, it's just like the wire below, which is the all potential realities that could ever be, could ever exist. You're in that spot. And the same for the spirit above. Everything's unique. Yes, there's a base, but once it fractures, once it separates, once it divides from, it becomes different and has certain characteristics. It has base characteristics, but it has certain characteristics. And that spirit gives a soul. So you can think of the soul as coming into this experience as having some of those facets. That's where sort of being yourself, being your individual self, it's important, because there is a unique you. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. So, just as I can promise you, every bird on that wire, now, they all had the same, pigeon silhouette, and that's about it. I'm just telling, because the size ranged all over the board, the colors ranged, and that's just from what I can see on the ground. they're like snowflake times a quadrillion, given the complexity of their feathers and patterns, and they're all unique. So, yeah. So yes, this really does fit. So here we have all these 9 billion souls here on earth that are from these unique aspects that are across all of potential. So yeah, they're going to be varied. This is where it comes into how division is used, and it's a tool by this matrix in everything from sports to politics to religion to sexes, period. It's not honored. There's a reason for the divine masculine and the divine feminine, but that scares the shit out of them. So we can't have that be the foundation. So let's take the 9 billion souls here. I'm not going to ask, I'm going to state what I believe is to be absolute truth. Again, and it's not because of arrogance, it's by deep dives, very deliberately, and very strategically and very guided, that I come to these knowings. So I'm not going to even dilute them. Do you think that any one of us see our sensuality the same way? The answer is no. No, there's 9 billion views. There's 9 billion views of the color red. We all see something base, something similar. But remember, that's the foundation of consciousness. But then it fractals. Then it changes. Everybody now has an interpretation, their own divine uniqueness, their spin, their way to see it. It's different than yours, and that's okay. It's awesome, actually. We need to get back to, I saw a video, I don't know, a month or so ago, of Woodstock. We need to get back to Woodstock, just without the drugs and the loud music. I'll do a whole other thing on music. That's because that's a very used mechanism in this realm as well. So, but that's different. That's not what we're talking about now. Birds on a wire. So there cannot be any groups or camps or anything, people, because we're all either one or we're 9 billion, and either one is okay. You just have to celebrate both. But see, here's the problem for those quote unquote in charge, is that there's no power for them in either one of those. If we're individuals, we're focused on ourselves first. Don't worry about others. They'll take care of themselves. Pigeons do it. So, but we're probably more like them. We'll be fine. If dumbass can't make it on the wire, dumbass can't make it on the wire. Figure it out. That's the end of it. No judging. There's no nothing. There is exactly what it is. So it's only when they can break us into camps and then pin energies against each other. Or we think of one, right, where we're just like, man, what's good for me is good for you, like feeding organic nuts to my animals. The birds and the squirrels and raccoons and everything else. They eat the same way. I see them as one. So that's what we are to see, is one. But then be able to embrace, but then to be able to embrace the individuality. The guy that lives in his truck around the corner from me, or I'm not sure, but I engage with him appropriately, whether it's through a hi or walk by with Mac and say hello, or just, a quick wave to baked goods. It's when it's appropriate. But I accept him. He's living his life, not mine. And I have no room to judge, because maybe he's getting exactly what he came here for. It's probably a good potential. So I can't really judge. Nor am I going to feel guilt-ridden because of being put in a group that, if you're of this, then you're expected to contribute or to be. And I don't mean this in a bad way, but there are no expectations. We all have the utmost expectation. So we take care of one another when appropriate. We fill the gap with light when appropriate. That's for you to decide. So there are no groups, there are no camps, sports teams, political affiliations, religious groups. I mean, folks, it's all about division. Races. It's all about division. Always has been. That's the easiest one, because we do the work for them. All you gotta do is just light a little match, and humans are wonderful kindling. My goodness. I mean, we sure do burn out fast. I think of us as like pine needles or dry leaves. Beautiful, very flashy, lots of crackles, lots of up and then down. Oh, God. We're the consciousness, we're the kindling. So that's the example of the birds on the wire. We're all very unique aspects coming here to learn different things in different ways. And we can't judge one another's path. We can't get involved in it. Never set anybody further back on their path. Never and do no harm. That's the two universal laws. And then Mark Passio's 8th Hermetic principle of it's what you care about is what you'll do, and that's spot on. So what we do here, while I may make it sound small, it's small in the perspective of where we are in all potential. Does that make sense? How focused of an area we are in all potential. Because in all potential doesn't mean everything's filled with everything. It's just potential. So it can be just an empty ether, which is what it is. So don't discount what you're doing here, because it is important, particularly if you're waking up and things are starting to really register. So it's important what we do, how we do, because it's adding to an overall energetic momentum, and then it really is repairing a net. There are people all over the world that are going through and remembering how to heal, are bringing back old past lives, learning how to heal, have gotten downloads, just like you cannot believe, and they're out healing. They're told what to do, how to do, where to go do it, and they're visiting all these sacred sites and all these sites where there's been great injustice done for the early Gnostics. So it's there. There's a lot of stuff going on right now, and so what we're doing, where we are, how we are, who we are, it's really important right now. It's very, very important. So be your highest light. That's be truth to yourself first and foremost. Truth to yourself. That's the easiest way to make change. So unbridled truth, baby. That's where it's at. It's a pain in the ass sometimes. I'll be truthful. Oh, that's, you gotta admit, now that is pretty funny, right? That is sort of funny if you think about that. Oh, that is funny. But however, it is something that if you're honest about it, it will propel you to the right things, and that's going to be a combination of all kinds of things. And so, just pay attention to your intuition, pay attention to your guidance. It's got all the blueprints, so it's got all the answers. So peace. Mark Cobb is up next.